Hello. Waiting on Koos. So you have to give it a moment. Yes, you did lose, and I'm sure we'll cover it. If I can ever get Koos online. This is good, actually. The delay is just gonna build suspense. Koos is just now responding to a DM I asked him like 10-15 minutes ago, so we're in really good shape. We are in great shape. I honestly think you probably got some time here, Crunch. Flaccid, how are you this evening? Is that true, Sal? Minimum 30 cents? But you're not a co-host. You know what I mean? That's a whole. Oh, I think we found him. Okay, he's here. Now he needs to get in voice chat on Discord. Testing, testing.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
Muted by you, I can still hear you.
Everything good on your end?
I can hear.
That's all that matters.
I'm busy watching some. It's not grade A Tag Pro. It's definitely Tag Pro though.
Yeah, I was trying to get set up here, so I'm kind of stopped watching the two games that were still ongoing. I saw WAP was up at the beginning of Game 5, and then HEB was tied, I think.
Yeah, who is it? Ball's Hughes team is up 2-1.
Okay.
Let's check EU, and let's see if that game got rescheduled. It's
it did. Someone, Hugh confirmed that.
Phew.
Yeah, I know.
split in terms of public opinion. And personally, I mean, a few of those kind of did go a little too heavy in terms of like banning people for full seasons. So I don't know. I think it's a good sign when you can look up and say, find the Goldilocks punishment. Find a full season is too much and doing nothing is not enough. Here's the Goldilocks punishment of what's just too right.
Yeah, I'm struggling with it, and it's more so about the week one replay and the effect that their punishment had on it. Like it was so strange to me. They had to so number one, like I went back to watch the stream for a few minutes from yesterday before deciding why am I watching this when the rosters are completely different. But Furballers played with their week one roster, so they had dropped Trapson and PK in the interim, but they're playing for Furballers yesterday because that was their week one lineup. So just right off the bat, that didn't make any sense to me. And then two, you have Wave Pains minus Spheroid because of the punishment, minus Taurus because of
the
restriction. And now they're down 2 starters when week one they should have only been down 1 starter, and that's just where I struggle with it. Like, I understand, I guess you have to disappoint Spheroid in some way. You're taking away an additional starter from them, and they predictably got smoked.
Yeah, so like the full-time lineup, because they played a different lineup even tonight.
Yes.
Is it now Spjork, Motomoto, Taurus, and Josh?
That is, yes, but again tonight Taurus it's in his restriction window.
Yeah.
So he's not playing once again, but yes, that is the full roster currently. Yeah.
Okay.
It was so strange to me. It was after the 2 drops that Furballers have made. They have to bring back PK and Trapson and hope they're okay with it. Which, I mean, I assume they were. They're nice guys.
That's a weird thing, because then you're taking away time from other people.
Yeah.
Like the people that are new to the team, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And then I think maybe fair or not, I think Wave Pains won 3 games week one that got vacated, and I don't necessarily agree that they should have those wins vacated. I think they should have maybe played game 5 on yesterday, but I'm really struggling with the idea we're gonna throw out the series results, and then now it's all this like weird roster stuff, like they're no longer on the team, Spheroid's now suddenly not on the team. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me either.
I mean, like you said, there was gonna be no great way to do this that satisfies everybody, right? So,
I guess just play game 5. I mean, why do we need to redo the whole series?
I think they could have done that, or what do you do? Average it or some sort of, I don't know.
Yeah. So I turned the stream on from yesterday, and I was just like, oh, this is their week 1 roster. It makes no sense. So like I'm tempted just to throw that series out entirely.
And analysis is no good.
Yeah. No. So I mean, so Furballers I think took 4 or 5 games. I don't remember exactly. They smoked them like they should have.
My only note was, does Gospel of Juke think that CT stands for the word captain?
I'll be honest with you. When I first saw his name, I did not immediately jump to Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I get it too, but I was just thinking, I'm like, usually there's an AP in the abbreviation for captain.
And then so that's that series from yesterday.
And then more Furballers is they get a nice little wake up call against TMS.
Yeah, so do you want to start there?
I think so, because we could be looking at the start of a trademark TMS game, right? Where they look like good, not great, very rarely like flashy, but they just kind of suffocate their opponent, and they have flag out so much that you can't really remember the other team's last capping opportunity.
Yeah, when I grab their EUs, I'm going to throw that up on the screen.
I mean, that's at least how it looked on Moonbase.
Yeah, we had, so game 1, it was almost a continuation of Furballers game 4 from the original week 1, where it was just like CT crunch held for 2.5 minutes. They won that game before the drama happened. And that's what game one reminded me of tonight. It was like CT Crunch was going crazy, and then you had Tory swapped out for Trapson, which is an upgrade. And I'm like, okay, they lose the game, but it's like, okay, they got something here. Like they can go wire to wire with TMS, And then the series goes on, and now it's 4-2 in game two, and I'm sorry, they win 4-2 game two, and then it's 10-0 TMS, which is
biggest win of the season so far, and probably, is there going to be anyone bigger than that?
Well, LBT, we'll get to them tonight. That was a little absurd. But yeah, to your point, like, we started seeing why I think we thought TMS was the clear number one. And, like, I understand some of these games are close, but you go 7-1, you go 10-0 against a pretty good team. You got CT Crunch, Toity, Ice Plat, and their fourth PK was filling in tonight for Gamma. And that's a solid top half roster, and they were winning games by 10 caps. It just reinforced to me maybe FWO is pretty good actually, and TMS is still also pretty good.
Yeah, you're not going to find any disagreements from me on the TMS front. I just thought they looked a little bit more cohesive this time around compared to week one. And the other thing that, like I was saying, it's Russ is a better flag carrier than I'm used to seeing from a lead defender, from a 50 tag coin defender, which is part of it. And then you look up and Irony is a two-way ball of sorts. I don't know, is he better at offense or defense? Yeah, maybe a little bit better at defense.
I think he's really silky with the flag, to be honest with you.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the way I always like to build my teams when I was captaining, was like, give me 4 flag carriers, because the game is rarely about one team preventing for 8 minutes in base. It's all about what's going to happen in those movements, transition, when you're making desperation grabs on OD. Maybe it's just because my teams played faster, and you get what I'm saying. Like,
no,
it's just kind of like you build a team to play a certain way.
And flip it for me then. Like, do you look at furballers now? They only win one game tonight. They're non-competitive in some of these, competitive in a couple.
So is that one roster change? So that's Trapson out, Toity in.
And that's the only change they made. So they got CT Crunch, Ice Plat, Toity, and I guess PK again for Gamma. I think PK's over Gamma, but that's a different discussion. And so my note on this is a really silly note, and it's super pro PK, but PK had an OD play tonight where he sandwiches. I think it's game 2 on Moonbase. It's a beautiful sandwich on OD. He gets returned by like that bot left 45 people curl around, and I'm like, this is why PK's on your team. We talked about him after the draft, like just the small stuff he does. I'm like, that's it, right? It was the perfect encapsulation of what PK is, and I like him a lot for this Furballer roster. I just don't know if they're gonna keep him because I dropped him for Gamma, right? But
yeah, I think one thing we kind of forgot in preseason also is that like being able to grab makes you elite at offense in this league.
Yep.
I've looked, and especially early on when TMS was kind of slowly like figuring out how to start grabbing, I was like, oh, they're not amazing grabbers. But it's like I said, they kind of find ways to slip out the flag and just hold and keep things moving and eventually work things back into their favor. But you look at some of the none of these defenses I'm going to say just yet are like like I said, guaranteed 5-6 minutes prevent and both racking up 15 returns. Like, but the thing is, the grabbing is not quite. The people that can grab are way ahead of the people that can't. Think about people like Balls to You, right? Where it's like he knows how to grab.
Yeah.
He knows how to get out. That puts him on a completely different tier than every other other person around those tiers.
True.
So, Yeah, having people on your offense that can, just buy your defense some time is half the battle.
Agreed. Um, I don't know if I got anything else on this series.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty. So it was a 4-1 or is
Yeah,
a
4-1 was the final.
I mean, those games were pretty comprehensive. I definitely paid less attention to those as they went on because the 10-0 kind of the series is kind of
Yes.
over for lack of a better phrase. But the 5 game system does make it so you got to keep playing all 50 minutes.
Nope. Okay, we'll move on. I guess just maybe give me one more week. I've been bouncing on TMS. Like I really overreacted to week
Being
one.
like the top dog.
Yeah, I'm going back towards them being the top. Give me one more week on that, but I feel pretty good about it right now.
Is this 7 weeks? Does everybody play everybody?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so I mean, well, there's only the regular season standings will not lie.
Russ does have a request to talk about Russ more.
Yeah,
Other than
I
the
said
fact your
something
team is
earlier.
good tonight, now listen, the same stuff I was talking about last week where you're kind of screwing Logi, I saw some more of it. So you better watch yourself.
Is he playing for stats? I'm not paying attention to that part.
It's hard to tell. It's just like he's moving too much. I don't know if that makes any sense. He's just moving and like giving up these silly grabs. And the poor Logi's back there doing his best. Anyway.
Logi always does his best. Logi is not going to bully you around mechanically, but he's there, man. He's just
True.
there, man.
Okay, next series. I don't know why I have my Twitch open. We can go LBT WAP. Do you know what the final
Okay,
score of Game 5 was?
This is very chronologically. This is good. You're saying the last score?
Yeah, I'll try to find their EUs here.
The last score was WAP 7, LBT 4.
Okay, so while I'm loading this image onto the stream, why don't you give me your take?
1, 2, 3, 4 in 1 week for LBT. My notes for this one is that new WAP is better than new Coke, but they're still a little bit too streaky. I think I mean there's like I said we said a couple weeks ago the players that are newer or to the new version of competitive still got to find their footing, still getting microed in a few places that they'll give up caps. And I mean no one's gonna feel sorry for you in this league because like we said, all 5 games matter, and if you're one of those teams at the bottom 4 or 5, picking up points matters.
Nope.
So LBT looks like they kind of made something click in that break. I just think WAP's got to be a little lighter on their keys. Those tiny little misplays, letting someone slide by and grabbing a boost at the right time when you're chasing. Those types of things, they don't fly even at the novice level. Well, I take that back. Sometimes they do fly at the novice level because that's just how the novice level is.
I don't want to continue to be an LBT hater. Like I'm not doing this on purpose, and it's not a squeeb thing. But you're playing a WAP team that we just went over. They don't have Taurus this week again. Spheroid's no longer on the team. So they have Tumblewood filling in for Taurus, and they just picked up Spjork.
Which I mean, like I was gonna say, Spjork, that's a playable offense.
Playable. I think it's worse than what they had, and
no,
yes,
Spjork is so
get rid of the name. Does not matter. I played him. I'm telling you, man. Anyway, putting that aside, the defense was not good enough.
I'll say here's what I'll say about that pairing is that the Spheroid Moto partnership worked better than the Spjork Moto partnership because Moto is the type of player that regardless who he's playing with, he's the aggro guy, and Spjork should be the person that kind of is allowed to take center stage.
Yeah, I mean maybe give them some time, see if they figure it out. So let me finish the game tape before I go to like what. I think they picking up Spork is a mistake, but we can set that aside. But so
I don't know who else they were gonna grab.
Well, so anyway, so Tumblewood fills in for Taurus, and Like, I remember one game on Moonbase, I think maybe game 2 or game 3. I'm looking at the stats at the end of the game. They lost. Tumblewood had 17 returns. And I'm like, oh, okay, filled in nicely. And then I look, he's got a minute of prevent. And I'm like, oh,
That's why.
the flag is always out. And
Yeah.
it's somewhat unfair to judge.
Oh,
I lost you. Hold on. Can you join that link again? There you are.
he was so angry with me that he had to.
I cut you off. Yeah, so the flag's always out, and so to some extent it's unfair to judge Moto and Spjork, I think. I mean, there were a couple of situations where I saw Spjork have a really nice out, and like he's just like holding for his life while his team's trying to get a return.
Yeah, I think that's going to be his entire season with these three because.
Well, so it's Torres coming back, right? So that's what they're banking on.
Okay,
is
okay,
Torres
okay.
coming back and place a Tumblewood that helps stabilize. I just think the roster is worse than it is now, and then especially without Torres this week, it's like, what does that really tell us about LBT? I don't really think it tells us anything. Like Trapson was nice for
let's
face.
see.
I like that swap, but does
Put
it
it this
really?
way.
Does the series really tell us anything about LBT? I don't really think so.
I think put it this way though, they did exactly what you want them to do.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
Right? I mean, you get matched up with a team that is, like you said, down like a player and is mixing up the roster with another player. You win by 3, you win by 7, you win by 6, you win by 3. What do you want from them?
I don't know. Okay, then, thanks for the raid. There's a collab thing happening. I don't know what's going on there.
No, it's just the Raiders are here.
Okay.
The Raiders.
Yeah, so to your point, this is exactly what you want LBT to do, and that's fair. Like, this is the worst minors roster we are going to see fielded on the field all season. And I think it's probably
Okay.
not going to be particularly close. Like, I think this was a really bad roster.
Okay.
So now that being said, to your point, they did it, and Squeeb looked good. Borges I thought looked
I'm not calling
fantastic.
them Mooper favorites.
No, sure, but I'm not ready to move
calling-
off. I'm not ready to move off. I think I had them sixth. Like they're a mid-tier team to me, and I don't know
Yeah.
that tonight really changed that for me.
I mean, yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, I'd have to watch OPH and. Well, did LPH do really well week 1? I forget. I have not looked at the standings.
I believe
I should go to the hub for the
OPH
standings.
did fairly okay. I think they split
So I mean,
or close to it.
I think it's gonna be like the standings are gonna be like the top 2-3 teams, and then everybody else is just gonna be kind of like right around that all within X amount of points.
Yeah.
There might be one team that's like all the way at the bottom and can't really make their way back in. But...
Well, unfortunately, at this point, I think that might be WAP, but we'll see what they look like.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
Torres comes
exactly.
back.
I'm clicking on the hub right now, so let's see.
Okay. So while you're doing that, slightest thank you for the subscription. Very kind of you.
Yeah.
Appreciate the support.
OPH had 6 points last week, so they are technically in 6th place, and we've got a little bit of an update. Hey, I'm gonna say right now, LBT. This is because things are moving around. Oh, and for a second there, they showed up as a top of the team on my standings, but that's probably because they were the only team that had both their games in.
Yeah. Well, so they played TPO last week. LBT did and won 3 out of 5. Now, of course, again, that was for they had Face instead of Trapson they picked up for this week.
Yes. What is Face gone?
Yes, Face gone.
Wow.
Yes. And I like the Trapson pickup. So, I mean,
No. Oh wait, yeah. So LBT for Trapson for Face. Okay.
yeah. So I mean,
And put it this way, where we haven't seen OPH with Dalek instead of
true.
Instead of whoever
Instead
was
of
supposed to be
Torty.
gone. Instead of Torty, okay.
Yeah, which I think that's a big upgrade for them too.
It's an upgrade for sure.
I'm not afraid to say big.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
trust me. You and I both know Dalek is good.
Yes. Okay. Any other thoughts? LBT versus WAP.
No, I just think WAP's got to be lighter on their keys if they want to stick around and be part of the conversation. They're getting mini juked and like thrown off of boosts, which is a no-go.
All right, I'm gonna grab the scores, the finals here for HEB and TPO. Looks like
This one was fun to watch. I was really impressed with TPO because they had Beast instead of Selfie, and
yep.
and this was just more even than I thought it could be. I'm still pretty HGB. Um, I'm still pretty high on HGB, even after this series. But you know, balls to you, brought it. AJ was solid with the flag especially. Um, a couple of their games just kind of went back and forth a little bit. They were mostly low scoring, if memory serves. Let's
Yeah,
see.
well, so game one was 6-5 in favor of HEB, and I think, do you want to shoehorn clutch time discussion in now? Because that was a clutch time tie by
Oh yeah,
HEB into a win for HEB in overtime.
yeah. Hopefully some of the knowledgeable balls and the game thinkers are in here. Should should the team that's trailing go just like completely backwards in their head and like go 4-0, secure your grab, and then worry about like picking people off and getting returns? Because especially in no kiss, you know, all you gotta do is you really gotta keep your flag carrier alive mostly. And I think I saw whoever was red team, like they kept circling back and doing the smart thing, and they even picked up a juice, which I don't understand how you let the FC pick up a juice when you're the team that's ahead. Um, I think teams are not playing the situation perfectly in clutch time, like especially when they're trailing. I'm curious to see what you think about like how, because I mean you've played scrims where you go into clutch time, right?
Yes. And honestly, I'd never thought about your 4-0 point. But to that end, like,
Like worry about or like think about it this way, especially especially with no kiss, because in in ranked you just the FC can be the other chaser, but you've got to focus on getting a grab first, um, and then keeping your flag carrier alive. Sometimes what happens I notice too often is like um, a team will have maybe their regrab is in clutch time,
mm-hmm.
and then they'll have like two defenders in base. I just think you need to find ways to extend the other team out. Maybe start picking them off if they try to make grabs, and then worry about like trying to create the capping opportunity. Because it's just otherwise the team's gonna just sit there and play OD, delay, wait for the right time.
Yeah, no, that made sense to me. You're definitely trying. I mean, you have to get the grab, right? So you got to do everything you can do to get the
Yeah.
grab first. So whether it's 3-0, which is what I've kind of done, or 4-0, um, I don't hate the
I
idea.
just want to see the game played correctly. I feel like teams are just uh, not playing the situation right, and it's a matter of like there's got to be a concerted effort to make it happen.
What's been an interesting thing that's come up in my scrims and games. This is kind of post grab, so assuming you get the grab and you're in clutch time, there's always the like confusion around: are we gonna go for power ups? Are we trying to full send return on their clutch time FC? And often people get stuck in the middle.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
I've just from the few I've played, it seems to me it's more beneficial to full send the FC, because if the
to
other
full
team's
send
going for power ups,
as your
yeah, they're not protecting their clutch time FC, and you
oh
probably
yeah,
have an
no.
FC. You know what I mean?
In half the time in a couple of Kalen's games, like in overtime, he could even see it like a mile away. Like the flag carrier that needs to stay alive is like boosting into his own base
Mm-hmm.
with two chasers right there. Like what the heck are you thinking?
Yeah.
Um, you know, the idea as being the holder, you know, you dying, you need to be ultra conservative with the flag.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, and okay then I mean yeah and it's map dependent too, right? Like
Yep.
if you're picking up a tag pro on lemon and you can just like cordon off a section of the map, you're in trouble on your own. But I think Moonbase is the to perfect point to bring up if you guys will go back and watch that first game. I mean HGV had to cap with I think only a couple seconds left. They had their regrab ready,
Yep.
and then all they had to do was I think when maybe they won a tag pro or something, and it was game over.
Yeah, they won both pups. One was a tag. Yep.
Yeah, I think it was like a tag rolling, and you're like, if you're one team, you're like, we can. I take that back. You can't really just say, okay, we'll forfeit the cap. I think teams now should start playing really heavy defense when they're up by 2 in the last like 30 seconds or so.
100%.
I think that part's not really clicking with people. They're just thinking, oh, should we even, you know, oh, this part doesn't matter because even if they get one, we still got time. The other question is kind of bouncing around my head. Should we have clutch time?
Yeah,
has it been like a net positive? Are we that much in favor of it, or is it one of those where you say like, hey, what you can do in 10 minutes decides the game?
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. For me, I've always been more so, and goes back to when we went from halves to best ofs. It's always been about what's entertaining to me, and is clutch time more entertaining? I think it is.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Like it opens
from
up
that standpoint,
a new
absolutely.
strategy. It's new, and it's something different, and it makes you think.
To your point, if you're only dealing with what happened in the 10 minutes, you gotta grab in 10 minutes that you're not able to finish. I guess, does that make you question that logic a little bit? Like you're getting the chance to finish what you did in that 10 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm spitballing.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing. I'm just trying to throw out.
Should there be a change in the rules, maybe where it's like almost a potato timer, and like you only get so much? Yeah. And if you couldn't get a tag pro, the only problem is if pups didn't spawn on certain maps, it would just be it could be 5-10 minutes of just sitting there, and then people can't get out without pups on some maps.
Yeah.
I don't see Hugh. I get what you're saying about like basketball buzzer beaters,
but that's not the same. That's within the time of the game.
Yeah, that's like if you were pressing okay, think about it this way. It'd be like if you were pressing your keys and then all of a sudden whatever your ball was doing as the clock hit 0, that's what happens. And if you line yourself up correctly and you make me
that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this game is obviously different than like a sporting event, just because like getting a snap off at the end of the game is a different thing too, because the play starts before the end of the game.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just we're having fun. We're having this discussion. This is the kind of discussion we wanted to have, right?
Absolutely. I want to go back to your point you made a few minutes ago.
The strategy section.
Well, just when you're up 2 at the end of a game, and a renewed focus on maybe going 3 or 4D in that final minute when you're up 2.
3D in a midfield person.
Yeah. Well, so last night I'm playing our majors game. I think game 5, and we're up 4-3 in the last minute or something, or maybe we're up 4-2, something like that. And I'm like, anything but clutch time. We cannot let clutch time happen.
Oh yeah.
Because then pups come up, we're unsure what to do. Maybe they get a tag, and now suddenly all bets are off. Like, to me, it's you got to do everything you can. Like, forget about tying the game. Like, when you're up 2, it's like we can't even let them get within 1.
Well, and the other thing is
it did end up going yes.
Maybe these teams that are defending are maybe not. Maybe are they maybe being a little bit too aggressive and just I'm trying to think, because I think both sides of the flag are kind of misplaying these clutch time scenarios just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea should be kind of like Meowza said is maybe you do got to kind of play the 4OD game, and like if there's a tag you can still send like 1 or 2 people to a tag, because think about it this way, you're definitely not capping to tie the game if you've got people fighting for tag pros while you're also trying to come in and cap.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's like it's still so new, right? That the discussion can kind of keep going on, but I just wanted to bring up the point of like people need to really focus on securing the grab,
Yep.
focus on keeping yourself safe, and then worrying about pups maybe. How does the clock work? Am I missing something with the way that the clock works when you go to clutch time, where like it counts up obviously, but doesn't something reset?
It
That shouldn't
resets
be
if it goes
resetting.
to overtime, if I'm not mistaken. So if you were to tie it, it resets at 0 for overtime.
And so then it just counts up again,
I
or
believe so, yes.
to
So
the
knowing what time pups spawn after that, you guys can do the math. I get totally lost.
right? But then does it come up at like let's say the pup spawned at 10 seconds into clutch time,
We have
and
not
I can't.
had as far to my knowledge, we have not had a clutch time / OT long enough to have that scenario happen. I think it's still a minute after it's grabbed, regardless.
Okay, so then it could pop up at like 37 seconds of overtime.
Yes.
Because okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's. I wonder if that's a coding change that can be made.
I think they need to because just like in the moment, it's really hard to keep track.
Yeah, and I mean even if you're like a legend of timing pups, you're still like trying to do that math in your head while you're still playing.
Right. In an overtime situation.
Yeah,
no.
so it's already frantic, and you could and the and the team that just capped on you could be having the regrab train come right in.
Yep.
Yeah. What else? Do we miss something? Oh, and then we can keep talking more about HGB and Ping Opaque.
Yeah, because we just talked about game one, right? So
those were just good, tight games and back and forth. Let's see. One cap game, one cap game, one cap game, one cap game, 3-cap game.
Yeah, so I'll piggyback off your first point. Beast filling in for Tag Prop.
Selfie.
I thought played really well.
Am I mixing those two up? Is it
Selfie's
Beast was in for Tag Prop and then Selfie was in for who? I'm trying to think.
No, Selfie's on OPH. There was no Selfies up in there, as far as I know. TPO had their full lineup, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, okay. So Beast fills in for Tag Prof. Very different offenders, and to still come out with what's like 4 out of 5 wins, if I'm reading the EUs right.
1, 2, 3, 4 wins for HGB.
Yeah.
All their wins were by a cap, so it was HGB by 1 on aggregate.
Yeah, but I mean, you swap out your best. Probably one.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. I looked at the wrong thing. So this is HGB wins 3 out of the 5. TPO won twice at the end. They won both the Audacity games. I'm sorry. I looked at the game that got aborted.
So I think if you're HGB, right, you're losing Tag Prof this week, who's one of the best offenders in the league. He's subbing at majors and winning games, right? So you put Beast in his stead, who's a completely different style of offender, who's probably not as skilled as Tag Prof is.
What?
I know, if you can believe that. Now, maybe the best support offender in the game, per himself.
Some might say.
But so to go 3 out of 5 doesn't feel too bad to me. And I think on the flip side, if you're TPO, I guess it doesn't feel too bad. I don't. There's just nothing.
I think these teams are pretty good. Like they could win a playoff series, both of them.
Well,
against like the top teams. Like I want to see TPO take on TMS or whoever.
Yeah, I'm struggling with TPO a little bit. Because they went 2 out of 5 against LBT last week. And now they go 2 out of 5 again against a weakened HGB squad. And like those aren't bad results. But it's like
like I said, they can stay in any game, right? Like the UFC, they play 4 overtime games.
Yeah.
Or clutch time or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
I think, but to me, like, so what does their playoff success look like to you? Is it like we're keeping it close and then like Balls to You just holds for like 3 minutes and does something crazy?
Balls to You had a really sick cap on Audacity. I can't remember if it was game 4 or whatever, but he just like completely just mind games these people and splits through the entire OD. It was like they didn't even touch their keys. It was an odd one.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been midway through game 4 or something. Highlight of the week, if you ask me.
Well, so I'm gonna counter with one from the same series. I don't know if you saw it. It was on one of the Moonbase games. HEB was coming in top base, and FC missed the flag tile, and there was Chaser was coming screaming in the base off the boost, and I think it was AJ on the base bomb hit the base bomb to knock his FC in the flag tile to get the cap. Really sick.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah. Really sick. So we actually talked about like preseason. We mentioned this team is kind of like high highs and low lows. I think to your example with the balls to you cap on Audacity, and then what I'm talking about here on Moonbase, like the skill ceiling super high for them.
Yeah, I just think they I mean, we talked about like teams being able to like compete mechanically. Like,
Yep.
there ain't gonna be anyone going in there and just like locking them down for 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, probably not.
So I mean, like it's a matter for them of like cleaning up mistakes, and then who knows what could happen from there. I'm just looking around for some other stats. I mean, we're on Vic O watch, of course, again.
Yeah, I saw that in chat a little bit today.
Where he had 4. I mean, okay, if he has a minute of hold on 4 grabs, I mean, that's just other team not being able to tag him.
Yep, true. And I do think that's probably TPO's weakest point. No really true defender on the team. AJ's the closest they got. And honestly, he's more of an offender.
AJ is plenty fine for this level.
Yeah, but it's like Bubbles is an offender. You got Balls to You doesn't play a lick of defense. P-Wings is alright, I guess.
P-Wings ain't a good returner, if you ask me.
But, yeah, so I think that's their Achilles heel. And
yeah, when they go up against TMS, do they just get held against? Is it a Tumblewood situation? No to flame, no flame.
No flame.
Yeah, I believe you. I get it. I like watching that team play because it's just entertaining Tag Pro, I think.
Nope. Okay. I don't really have much else to say. I mean, tight series.
No,
Tag Prof not playing, so.
Do we know when the OPH game is?
I don't know exactly. I just know it's been rescheduled.
But
that was the game I was really looking forward to watching this week because
fastest way only or over the pants handoffs.
I mean that's a huge game.
If they're in chat, would like to tell us when that game is. I might even stream it. I might even be that guy.
Ooh. Yeah, but OPH they have their new lineup with Dalek. So it's Selfie, Dalek. The other two are escaping me right now. Good team, whoever it is.
A Dog and Pete.
Thank you, A Dog and Pete. So I want to see what their defense looks like when you have Dalek in there now. I know Nameless had expressed some. I don't know if reservation is the right word. I think Dalek's more of a finished product that he prefers, where Toity was not.
Yeah, but Dalek is talented enough to where that doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. I'd rather have the player at Dalek's level than someone that could maybe ceiling wise. I mean, we only got 7 weeks, right?
True.
You can only get so much. You can only get so good so fast.
Yeah, so I really want to see what that new lineup looks like for OPH, and then FWO. I'm like, my big question after week 1 was, and I know they lost the series, but they stuck with TMS, and we just saw this week TMS went 4-1 against a decent LBT team.
It's the greatest loss in the history of Miners Tag.
It really is. I came away so freaking impressed with them, and I want to see if it's real. And I think this series is gonna be a great litmus test for how real they are.
They won on aggregate against the Mad Splatters.
I mean,
do we have players of the week?
This week?
Do any come into your hand? Come into your head, rather?
Well, I mean, you have to choose someone from LBT just because it was a farm week for them, right?
Whoa.
I mean, honestly, I saw Borges cap 5 times in the game, so I'm inclined just to take Borges here.
That's fair. I think I think the balls to you cap is easily the highlight of the week. If I can find it, we'll put it in the YouTube comments like I did last week. That worked out very well. People saw that I'm behind your cap. Let me tell you, he turns that ball in there. Ugh. It's cap of the season. And that game is just insane.
Apparently, Irony cap sits in one game.
Ball teasers and meme team. Back when MLTP was MLTP, man, I tell you what.
I did want to, if you got time for it, the trade deadline is before week 3.
Yeah, I like that though. That's fine by me.
So, any trade machine, does anything come to mind?
And we mentioned being able to find someone to play defense, maybe, and I hate to say this to Bubbles, but put up or shut up.
Yeah, can I give you my thoughts?
Oh, like a trade that helps both teams, maybe?
Well, I don't know about both teams, but I mentioned it when we were talking about Way of Pains. I think picking up Spjork, fine player, was such a massive mistake by Button. Man, you needed the fits at defense. You needed someone by Taurus that was going to be incredible. I wonder if they had a chance at Dalek. I don't know how the coins worked out. But if you give me Dalek and Taurus, I don't care what your offense is alongside Moto. You can call up Randy for all I care.
I don't know about that.
I know about that. So I think you need fits your defense. This offense, I don't think, is going to be good enough regardless. So I think you have to trade Spjork. And maybe it is for...
Yeah, but I think Josh is de-restricted, so you're basically like saying see you later to Joshua.
Correct. You know. And maybe the answer is just drop Josh for a defender. Maybe.
I think that'd be okay.
But I think there could be a partnership with TPO there, since they do have some weird players in weird positions. You could maybe convince Waterwheel that there's a swap to be made there. Although I guess Waterwheel did drop Spjork from his majors team, so maybe not.
Could swap PK for Josh. Sit Spjork on D like you want. Did
That'd be
PK
interesting.
and Moto play together? No, I don't think so. Other trades. I don't know.
If you're one of the big teams, so I consider like TMS, HGB.
Oh, but no, you don't make trades when you're the top 3.
Well,
team,
so
though.
that's what I'm asking. Do you really think you don't?
Oh no, I mean, the only reason I made so many trades when I won the Nooper is because our team wasn't quite where it wasn't quite challenging yet.
Well, also I think we had Anze for 3 weeks, right? So you need to replace Anze
right, so
and do all that.
We bridged the gap
and
got lucky that Hyalpa was a willing trade partner. I mean, you don't really mess with. Do you do anything with furballers? I don't think so.
Well, again,
how do you make them better in a meaningful way, right?
I mean, because who are your 3rd and 4th balls on that team? CT Crunch, obviously, you're not getting rid of.
It's just what you do with Gamera.
Torty, I don't want to be like toxic to Torty. I think probably not as good as his reputation is. I think you get some value there and maybe improve, like get a better defender and maybe a better offender.
I hear OPH is imagine like the double trade.
What do you mean?
Just because the OPH, what do you call it? OPH dropped Toyota for Dalek.
Yes.
Yeah, I think like you said, like if the only teams in this early too is like you've got to like be sitting there thinking like last 2 teams in terms of the standings, and then also you play the novice game of like, okay, maybe do you bring up the only thing I could see, I think Way of Pings could possibly benefit from maybe switching up the lineup in like an offense defense way.
Beast mode. That's a good question. We have not played the Where Sphere going game yet. He is eligible to be picked up by another minors team.
Water. Swap him for. Oh no, I take that back. You wouldn't do that.
So once you put him on defense, like that's to me that's the only thing that makes sense.
Could you put Spiro on D? Does he play? Is he both or?
He has played D. I think you'd rather have him on O. I think it's another AJ bubble situation.
Spheroid is not restricted.
Waterwheel says FWO is taking Spheroid, which is interesting.
You replace
Pass.
And then Pass. Watch this. And then Pass goes to Way of Pings to replace Josh.
Yep. I don't hate it. I really don't. I still think that offense kind of sucks, but I don't hate it. So if it is pass for Steroid, now you have Steroid, Hugh, and then it's Marcus Yellow, and who's their last defender?
Dolph.
Help me.
Dolph,
thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly we talk about mechanical ability. I mean, there's still maybe even more so with Spheroid in place of pass.
You're thinking, I don't know. I think Hugh gets a bad rap from people. I don't know why people are like all anti-Hugh sometimes.
Oh, Hugh filled in for Majors for us last night. I thought he played fantastic.
And it wasn't a complete disaster.
No, we were losing games by a count. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's an interesting move.
I loved Ty coming in and immediately giving up the cap on OD, and I was just like, get Ty out of here.
It just took him a minute to set a win. That's all.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So Steroid, I guess I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but FWO picking up Steroid's interesting.
We still don't know what's going to happen with this other game. Maybe OPH FWO someone has it with their teammate and just says, I am done. Get out of here. I'm leaving.
Could be.
And then there's the pickup right there.
Is there a scenario whenever they play this game, like let's say it's some extreme happens, like let's say for real, like OPH gets swept,
like lightning strikes and a few people lose their computer?
Well, do you start, like, if you're either team, do you try to make substantial changes if you get swept here?
No, we don't know if Pete's playing for sure either.
True.
Pete's just kind of like the unknown variable at this point. Is he playing? He's Schrodinger's minors player.
Right.
He could be playing.
Was Schrodinger Irish? Must have been.
Probably German. Erwin Schrodinger was Austrian. Wow. You were on this.
Could have sworn
Austrian Irish.
Oh, there you go. I was just making a joke because Pete, but that works too.
I didn't know that was a mixture you could have.
What a combo.
Austrian Irish. All right. I think that's plenty of clutch time.
Closing thoughts?
Yeah, it was a week. People played. Whenever that other game gets played, we're obviously curious about that, and I think people should have some discussions in the next few days in their channels about, like, how do you want to play your clutch time scenario.
Yep.
Because I think the first team to figure it out can earn themselves a few more points.
Agreed. And my closing thoughts, since Rafan mentioned it, God,
Goodbye.
Why is Radnow retiring? I'm so worried.
It was gonna happen.
I know, but he talked last year, like,
broken.
the medical treatment, the plan they had, he made it sound like it was so good, and he made it through the season without seemingly aggravating the foot, and then he's just, I'm worried. Put me officially as worried. It's gonna be a tough year, man.
10 wins gets you in.
Yep. All right. Until next time. Until next Monday. Thank you all for tuning in. Koos, thank you.
Thank you, Balanka. Good to see you again, pal.
Yep. Good to see you, man. Take care.